Well, really positive, as you would expect. Really good atmosphere around the place. We arrived for training here this morning, and there was black and white St Mirren flags up all around the stadium. So the fans had obviously been busy last night, which has given the players a real lift this morning coming in, and just adds to the excitement of the occasion.
I suppose it also shows what it means to the fans and to a club like St Mirren, not to get this far, but with an eye to the final as well.
Yeah, of course. I mean, look, the players are well aware of the importance of this game to everyone connected to the club, and it's been extremely difficult for our supporters and every other supporter in the land, but especially the good run that we have been on, in terms of knocking Aberdeen out in the last 16 and having a fantastic victory here against Rangers. It would have been brilliant to have the punters in the stadium for both of those games, because I'm sure the atmosphere would have been brilliant. Tomorrow, having played in a game of this magnitude myself, 7 years ago, or 8 years ago now nearly, I know we would have brought 15, 20,000 fans with us to Hampden. And, when the bus arrives at the stadium, you normally see all the fans out there cheering you in. So unfortunately, the players aren't going to experience that. But at the same time, they don't need me to remind them of how big an occasion it is and what's at stake for everybody.
Can you use that experience though, Jim, and maybe give them hints and tips of whatnot that you experienced those 7 years ago?
I think it's difficult to try and get the emotional side of it across to them, until you've actually been there and felt it for yourself. It's impossible to give anybody that. You do try and create pressure situations in training, but at the same time, it's not the same as on the day. So yeah, I mean, look, I'll offer as much advice as I can. Everybody says it. It's always about the teams who handle the occasion the better tend to be the ones that go on to be successful, and that's what we have to do. We've got to make sure we go and match that effort and that commitment that Livingston guarantee in every game that they go into. But no, let's say it's going to be a great game, one where I don't think there's a great deal between the two teams, and the lads are really excited and really, really looking forward to it.
Jim, when you look at the teams that are left in this competition, it must be a real incentive for everyone to believe that this is the year that you can get your hands on the trophy again.
Well, we have to have that mindset, and we do. We are confident in ourselves as a group that we're capable of going all the way. But as will Hibs, St Johnstone and Livingston, and I listened to David Martindale's interview after the game against Celtic. Davey is as positive and as confident as what I am, I think. So it just shows you there's not a great deal between the teams that are left in the competition. I think Hibs will obviously be favourites in everyone's eyes because, where they're sitting in the league table, and obviously the size of the club and everything else that goes with that. And you probably could say that they've got the best squad left in the cup, but it doesn't matter. I mean, honestly, I think form goes out the window on the day. Livingston are probably the form team in the league at the moment, along with Rangers, in terms of the points that they've accumulated over the last 9 or 10 games. So yeah, look, I mean, Livingston might be favourites in a lot of people's eyes going into our game, but I've been here before. I went into this game 8 years ago off the back of a 4-1 league defeat to Ross County, and we managed to knock Celtic out in the semi-final. So league form doesn't matter in the cup. It's a one-off game, and the team that plays to the levels that they're capable of will ultimately be the one that goes through.
Jim, when you talk about the fans putting out the flags around the stadium and just try to get the buzz going amongst the players, is that important in these days when there is that disconnect between the fans because they're not in the stadium, they can't be there to cheer you on the day in the ground? I mean, are these wee things, are they important in a week like this?
Well, definitely. I just, speaking to the staff and to the players, I know they all noticed it and they were all chatting about it over breakfast this morning. So, it means a lot to them. And it just goes to show, like we said, what it means to the town of Paisley. look, it's a big occasion for all of the clubs that are left in it, and we would like nothing more than to give them a cup final to look forward to. I think nowadays, obviously the players have had to get used to playing without any atmosphere and without any supporters in the stadium. But I think the good thing about the modern day is the social media side of it. I know a number of our players are on, whether it's Twitter or Instagram or something, and I know that the supporters out there have got a way of getting some kind of positive messages to them. So, the players really do appreciate it, and it goes some way to showing them what it means to all of our fans who will be watching at home.
As we're coming out of this sort of COVID era, we're hopeful there's things, a light at the end of the tunnel. I mean, to have something else, a final for the town of Paisley to look forward to, I mean, that would be, such a boost for everyone in the town, I suppose.
Well, of course it would, yeah. I mean, everybody, I think, right across the country, everybody's feeling a little bit low because of the situation, and everybody, working from home and doing school from home. And I think football has been a great outlet for everybody. I don't know personally what I would do without it in terms of it being on the telly. I mean, we're very fortunate as players and as staff to be able to carry on with our daily routine and to be able to come into the stadium and see everybody on a daily basis and carry on doing the job that we're doing. Don't get me wrong, we've paid a big price to do that in terms of the testing and everything else and the different protocols that we have to adhere to, but it's worth it, in my opinion, so that we can keep football going. And I think having a game to look forward to at the weekend live on the telly gives everybody a lift, and I think probably 60%, 70% of the country support one team or another, and I think they all look forward to having a game to watch, and this one no more than any other. I think will give the fans something really exciting to look forward to, and hopefully we'll give them the kind of result that they want, that will put a smile on their faces and give them a cup final to look forward to.
How's your squad looking?
Yeah, we're not too bad. I mean, Colin Quaynor unfortunately limped off against St Johnstone last week after being only on the park for about 10 minutes. It kind of opened up his medial ligament, so we're probably looking at 2 or 3 weeks for Colin to recover. Jake Doyle-Hayes was going to be suspended anyway, but he wouldn't have made the game because of the injury he picked up with St Johnstone. He's got a slight strain in his thigh. Other than that, we're not too bad. Other than that, the boys are in a good place. The squad is happy, and the majority of them are fit.
Jim, fantastic results against Aberdeen and Rangers in the run-up to the semi-final. But how do you approach this game differently to those ones?
The approach and the mindset going into it won't be any different. I mean, we believed when we played against Aberdeen and Rangers that we were capable of winning, and this one will be no different. As I said earlier, Livingston are on a great run of form. I think they're unbeaten in their last 10 games. They've won 8 of those last 10, but our own form is not too bad either. We've only lost 3 games in the last 17. Albeit we've took a little bit of dip in form in terms of the last 3 or 4 performances. We would have liked to have played a little bit better in the most recent games, but it doesn't concern me going into this particular game. I know what to expect from Livingston. David Martindale is, since he's taken over, has really got them firing on all cylinders, and you know what to expect with Livy. They're a really hard-working, honest group of players who give their manager absolutely everything. And for us to have any joy on Saturday or Sunday even, we have to be willing to match that effort and that work rate of what Livingston bring on a weekly basis.
You are one of the few teams that's beaten them home and away this season. Can you explain why you think that is, why you had success against them? And also, both of the results were 1-0. Do you expect it to be a tight affair again, or could it be different because it is the one-off cup semi-final?
I don't expect there to be a great amount of goals between either of the ties, to be honest. And the games that we managed to win 1-0 in the league, they could have went either way. That's how little there are between the two teams. And obviously the Hibs St Johnstone fixture tomorrow, there's not been a great deal between those two teams either in the games that they've played. So I would love to sit here and tell you there's going to be 5 or 6 goals in the game, and it's going to be a really entertaining evening. But I would expect it to be a really close, hard-fought game. And hopefully, like I say, we come out on top again. And I'll snap the hand off you right now for a repeat of the 1-0 scoreline in the league.
Jim, can I just ask you, the league have announced that they've asked all the clubs whether they would support the introduction of concussion substitutes until the end of the league season. Would you and St Mirren be in favour of that if that was to be put out to clubs?
Well, 100%. I haven't had an opportunity to speak to Tony Fitzpatrick or any of the board members on it yet. I haven't been asked for my opinion on it, but I will certainly. I know it only kind of got announced this morning, so I will be speaking to Tony this afternoon, and I'll be in full support of it. And I would imagine, as a club, we'll be right behind it as well. I've been involved in lots of situations when it comes to different head knocks. I spoke about it a couple of months ago when they were talking about introducing it. I fractured my skull myself in the opening fixture of a league game playing for Scunthorpe, and played on for about half an hour with a fractured skull. So at that time, it would have been nice to be in the position to come off for 10 minutes and be assessed by the doctor. But, as all sports people will tell you, we don't want to wave the white flag. We want to go out there and help the team. But having that decision taken away from the players, knowing that they're not going to weaken the team, I think is a big bonus. It happened in a lot of other sports anyway. And sometimes in football we are a little bit slow to catch on, but rugby league, rugby union, the NFL, all these teams have been doing it now for a number of years, and it's about time we caught up. The health and well-being of the players has got to be paramount for everybody, and it's something that I would encourage us and every club out there to accept.
Cheers.
Jim, speaking to Mark McCausland before this, and he says when it comes to these sort of occasions, you get quite passionate in the dressing room. Will it be the same as a manager?
Well, yeah. I mean, I'm passionate all the time. I want to be successful, and I want to motivate the players. When I was a captain, that was my role in the team, to try and get around the lads, to make sure everybody is up for it, to make sure that they all know what it means to everybody, but also what their roles and responsibilities are on the day. And it'll be no different on Sunday. Don't get me wrong, I'm not going around shouting and screaming in people's faces to try and get them up for it, but I think you've got to have that motivation as a manager to get the best out of the players. That's my job at the end of the day, to make sure that they go into the game with the belief and the confidence in themselves, to know that they're capable of causing another upset. And that's what it is. I think Livingston are favourites going into the game, and we always have quite enjoyed the underdog tag. And if because of the good form that Livingston are on puts us in that position, then happy days. We enjoy it.
And I know you've also spoken about the experience you've got in this, but your team in other cup competitions aren't short of sort of cup final winning experience and semi-final experience.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's when you've got staff members and members of the playing squad who have played in big games all throughout their careers, whether it's down in England and being involved in playoff promotion pushes and things like that, and obviously cup semi-finals and cup finals. I think it's vital to be able to call on that experience. And as I said earlier, I will try and pass on as much information as I can to the players of what to expect on the day. I think it's how you control your emotions on the day is the most important thing, and that's something that I remember, vividly. Probably more about the final than the semi-final, but the semi-final it was nerve-wracking, and you do have to try and stay focused and stay in the zone and not be uptight and not be tense. And that's been the message to the players all week. It is a big game. We know the importance of it, but we can't not go and play our normal game. There's no point changing anything. There's no point not being brave enough to try and continue to play the way we have been. We've got to stick to what's put us on the good run we're on, and believe in ourselves and go and show everybody, live on the telly in the semi-final of the League Cup, to go and show all the people watching what a good team we're capable of being.
Jim, you mentioned earlier the hard work that's gone in to get football back up and running and keep going during this around protocols. A couple of the managers in the league, Derek McInnes, Neil Lennon, have expressed a bit of concern about the protocols, saying they perhaps vary from club to club, maybe not been implemented as they should be. Are those concerns that you share, and what's your been experience in that regard?
No, I've got no issues with any of the other clubs out there, and I think it's. I think we need to be careful within football. When I listen to these managers out talking other clubs down in the media, I don't think it's healthy. I don't think it's positive. If they are the concerns that they have, then go and speak to the people higher up in their own clubs and get them to pass on that message and relay that message, back to the clubs it involves, and speak to the SFA. I don't think we need to go publicly shaming anybody. I think every club in the league and every club in the country, for that matter, is doing the very best they can with the facilities that we've got available to us.
And on
from our own point of view, we haven't changed the great. Sorry, did I drop out there? Apologies.
No, I dropped out. Carry on, Jim.
From our own point of view, all right, okay. But from our own point of view, we haven't changed a great deal on a match day. The opposing team come and use our away dressing room. We've given them another couple of rooms off the back of it. Some teams, because they haven't got that facility or maybe haven't got as big a dressing room as what we have, are using parts of the stand. But I've got no issue with how other teams are doing it. As far as I'm concerned, the guidelines have been followed, and I think people within the game, experienced people within the game, need to be careful how they put things out in the public, because we're working very, very hard. I know every team out there are working hard with the SFA, with the SPFL, and with the government to keep the game alive. And I can't understand why some managers feel the need to go out and shoot ourselves in the foot like that. I'm not saying don't raise the concerns, but I'm saying raise the concerns differently.
Thanks, Jim.
Thanks, guys.
Best of luck.
Thanks, Jim. Good luck.
Good luck, Jim.